Good afternoon. It's time for another NFL Bucky's Mail Day. This is your host, Mike C. And of course, Star Show. As always, it's Bucky. Say hi, Bucky. Bucky says hi. Well, we had some problems last week with this stupid video. I recorded 3 times, and for some reason did not post on YouTube, on a regular channel or regular platform. If you want to try and find it, check view all videos. It's there, but nobody saw it, unfortunately. It was a very good video, unfortunately. I really liked it. We're going to try again today, and I want to touch on what happened last week, and we'll get to this week. Um, Another goaltender died, a classic, Ed Jockman, mostly on the Rangers, also the Red Wings. I don't think he ever won a Stanley Cup. He was a great goaltender, played against the Hawks countless times, and he was a very classy goaltender. I always liked him. Um, the other main, we had, 9/11 was going on. This is because of last week, no, the previous week. And another tragedy, Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Just a tragic, great young man. He's only 31, and loved his God, loved his wife and his kids, his country, and they had the memorial yesterday, and we watched a good chunk of it. His wife spoke. She took over for his program, and I didn't see this part, but I saw it later. As a true Christian, she actually forgave the monster that assassinated her husband. And of course, the left, brutalized her and criticized her, and the whole thing is just despicable. Same thing with Jimmy Kimmel; they're doing that too, and just I won't get too political. I try not to, but it just disgusts me, and that's just my opinion. I'm going to skip what the Reds' record was last week because it doesn't really matter. And the Lions lost. That was the week before they actually won. They destroyed the Bears. I don't even have a score somewhere. 52-21, and just poured it on, just totally destroyed them. That was last week. Now this week, as I switch over here as my hand, Bernie Perrant died, another classic goaltender, and great goaltender. For 2 years, he was the best in the world, I believe, in the early to mid 70s when the Flyers won 2 Stanley Cups. I texted my brother, and he says, yeah, he was a great goaltender, and he was actually on the Bruins initially, which was true. And he always had I can't remember if it was left or his right leg. I think it was his right leg. I always had it like crooked at an angle. And just one of those little quirky things. Great goaltender. If memory serves, he got an eye injury on his mask, and that led to the elimination of the standard goalie's mask. He wore a classic Jacques Plante mask, and it was number 1. And after that, they switched to the cage mask, what they have now. But it was because of him that they got rid of the old masks. Uh, we're going to go to the Reds. Pages get my face. The Reds are 80-76. Not a great record, but for the Reds, I think it's fantastic. They get to 80. I believe they're in the driver's seat as far as the last playoff spot. They're in a heated battle with the Mets. And I believe Arizona is also in the mix too. They've got, I think, 4 or 5 games left. I know they just finished playing the Cubs, and they won that. I think they won the series. I don't know who they're playing next. I should have checked. I'm sorry. I was kind of in a hurry to get this out, and yeah, they could make the playoffs, and that's a lot better than I thought they were. Going to try and watch, some of the games. They definitely will keep up on the scores and the victories, things like that. but they're right in it, so that's fantastic news. Now, Bucky, what in the world do you have in front of you? Well, this is a book that I've shown before, but we dug it out again. It's Complete Tales of Poems of Edgar Allan Poe, my favorite poet. Um, and why do I have that? Well, he's originally from Baltimore, and that's who the Lions play this week. They play the Baltimore Ravens, so there's a good tie in there. I was going to have a tub of crab salad, but I thought, we passed on that. So we have a big game tonight. Um, Monday Night Football. It's in Baltimore, obviously, and the Ravens are favored. And it's gonna be a close game. I hope they win, obviously, but Ravens defense is not as dominant as it once was. Still have a good defense, but not a spectacular defense. I think the Lions can run on them, and their pass defense is better than their run defense. And but one of the main players out for the Ravens is a former Lions, Kyle Van Noy. He won't play, so that's good news. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game tonight. And it's going to be important because I've got a lot of fantasy players on the Lions, on all my teams. Some 3, 4, 5, some players on there. So we'll see what happens with that. Because right now I'm doing okay on fantasy, but like I said, most of my players play tonight. Yeah, it's a huge game. The Packers lost the Browns yesterday. The Browns blocked a field goal in overtime, and then they kicked a 55-yard field goal, I believe it was. And the Packers just got, they did not play well from the highlights that I saw. Fortunately, the Vikings won. It was a very close game with the Joe Burrow-less Bengals. It was very close, and the Bengals actually driving it would have cut the lead to 7, I think it was, something like that, maybe even less. And they threw an interception, and that just blew the entire game open. They scored, 58 or 48 points against them, 48-10, I think was the final score. And the Bengals just completely fell apart. Their offense stunk. Defense just got overworked. And now next 2 weeks, the Vikes are next week they're in Ireland, Dublin, the first ever Dublin game, and they'll stay there. And next week go to London. So that's good because they'll put a lot of stress on them. But so next week the Vikings play Steelers with Rodgers. So that should be good. I don't know who they play in London. I didn't check that far ahead. But I know the Lions, like I said, they play the Ravens, and then next week they play the Browns. So, which could be, they should win that, but it's probably going to be a little closer. But Browns are not a very good team, to be honest with you. But this is an important game. Now, it helped the Lions that the Packers lost. Because, it's Packers and Vikings and Lions, obviously. And the Bears absolutely stomped a mud hole in the Cowboys yesterday. It was like 100 something. It was a lot of points. It wasn't 100, but it was, almost half of that. Just annihilated the Cowboys. And the Packers have to play the Cowboys next week, so that should be interesting. So, it's almost a quarter of the season's over. It's getting close. It doesn't take much. In college football news, oh my Lord. I watched the Badgers game. They were completely inept against Maryland. And it was at home, and it was 21-0, I think, before they scored. And they just, there was a chance of fire fickle and throughout the stadium, and they just looked unprepared, unemotional. And the toughest part of their schedule is coming up. They got Oregon, they got Michigan, they got Ohio State coming up, I think. And it's just, they're not going to the playoffs, I'll tell you that right now. There will be no bowl games. Now, they're going to fire Fickle. They might. He has a $25 million contract buyout. And I think they're still paying Chris as a buy. I'm not sure of that, but they can afford it. But it's like, man, because he just gave him an extension, I think, last year. But he was totally unprepared. Special teams were terrible. Just a disgrace. And so we'll see what happens. They have a bye this week, which is good. So we'll see what happens. If they're going to fire him next week, give him one more shot, because I don't think the fans will appreciate that. But we'll see what happens. But Bucky is not happy, and I guess last week it was some game. I can't remember what it was. It was a basketball game, if I remember right. Um, Former Packers manager Mike McCarthy was spotted with AD director, I believe it was. Now he's under fire too. People want him gone too because he's the one that hired these guys. We'll see what happens with that. Would not be totally against having Mike McCarthy as a coach, but that's not for me to decide, Bucky, or you, unfortunately. But not saying we couldn't do a better job, but we'll see what happens. All right, Bucky, that's about it. We're gonna, got snacks, all that good stuff for tonight's game, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, this gets posted. I'm gonna go upstairs and post it because down here it did not work. So, for Mike Scenic Star Show, as always, it's Bucky. Oh, on a personal note, tomorrow is my birthday. Nobody's gonna post anything on this channel because nobody ever posts anything. But we're 67 years old, and I want to thank everybody for it. Hasn't happened yet. For the ones that do, wish me happy birthday on Facebook and other stuff, or send cards. Thank you for the well wishes. I know I'll get them online, just not on my channel. That's all. That's okay. But I just wanted to get that out there. So, there's monsters in the world, people. There's evil in the world, and what happened to Charlie Kirk? He seemed like a very fine young man, and tragedy. But they ignited a huge firestorm, and his wife took over for him, and the tribute was fantastic. Trump was there. He shook hands. Elon Musk was there, and of course the Dems went crazy. But I'm done with that. So, all right. So take care, everybody, and I'll post the score if it gets downloaded with the Lions, and we'll see you next Monday, and the results from the Browns game. All right, bye now.